Hey guys, I'm Billy. This is BILLT and welcome back to the garage. Hey guys, if you've been following along with my videos, or even better yet, if you're a subscriber, welcome back. But if you're new here, I just wanted to take this time and go ahead and do a little bit of an update and kind of describe myself and the channel and where we're at with some of these projects. Alright, well, if you made it this far, then that probably means one of two things. Either the first 60 seconds didn't bore you to death, or you actually are genuinely curious about what I'm gonna say, or I guess there's really a third option, is you're just really committed to supporting the channel and watching the whole video. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the channel itself. Now, the channel is what I'm gonna consider a hobby channel. I don't make any money. There's obviously a lot of money going out, a lot of headache, a lot of work, a lot of time. But I don't make any money doing this. I have about 650 subscribers, which if anybody's familiar with like YouTube, you don't even get to apply until you get to 1,000, which in my opinion would be great, but I already have about 600 more subscribers than I thought I would have, which was like 30, 40, 50. So this really just started as a way for one, I work on cars. That's something I do. I've been doing it for 15 plus years, probably coming up on 20 here in a bit, but it's just something I've always done. It's something I've always enjoyed, and I really wanted to get into editing videos. So I guess the logical progression was, let's start a YouTube channel. I'll edit some videos, I'll work on some cars, I'll drive some cars, I'll make some videos. Maybe people will watch it. So far, like I said, there's about 600 of you guys that are unexpectedly watching my videos. I have some videos with thousands of views. I never really expected it. In fact, my Honda Element video where I changed the motor mounts out was something that I didn't even know if I was going to record it, because I was like, who wants to see somebody change out mounts on an Element? Apparently there's like 20,000 people that want to see that. I don't know. I am getting better at editing. If you go back and watch some of my old videos, the editing is less great. I have been changing equipment, both the cameras that I'm using and tripods and GoPros and 360 cams and all kinds of stuff. So I've really just been experimenting with stuff. For now, it's almost like a science experiment. We'll just like kind of see how far it goes. So if you have 400 friends out there that want to subscribe, and maybe we can make a push to making some money on this thing, then maybe I can actually improve some of the quality. Maybe I can make some of the videos where people are like, oh, can you do this? And I'm like, I would love to, but I don't really have time or money or really incentive to do it. But if that becomes the case, then we'll kind of go as it goes. I do have a day job. This is a hobby. I probably spend 2 or 3 or 4 hours a week either working on cars or recording it or editing or whatever. So for now, it's just for fun, but who knows where it's going to go in the future. I would like for it to grow, but I want it to kind of be more organic, to the point where it's not a job, unless it really becomes so financially consistent that it actually could become a job. But until then, it's just for fun. I have no problem doing things the way that I do them, and I really do enjoy it. So I appreciate everyone who's watching, and everyone who's still watching. I'm sure there's some of you that I lost from, a minute ago to now. But I appreciate everyone who watches. If you do have feedback, go ahead and drop a comment. If you like what you see, like it. I'll even take dislikes, right? So if you like what you see, go ahead and check out some of my old videos, some of my new videos coming out, or go ahead and subscribe even. So let's go ahead and move on to some of the project cars, and we'll get some updates on those. Alright guys, so first things first, I'm going to go ahead and address the S2000 in the room. Now, if you've been watching some of my old videos, and you're watching the beginning of this video, and you're like, hey, that S2000 is where the Miata usually is, that's correct. So what I've done is I've actually swapped them. The Miata used to be getting a lot of attention, and we actually like where it's at now, so I think it's time for me to pay some attention to the S2000. Now, if you're familiar with the kind of history that I have with this car, then you'll know that I bought it as a salvage car. I put a ton of work into it, got the rebuilt title, got it on the road, got it legally registered and running and all that stuff. and I basically stopped working on it. It's still kind of in that same condition. You can see the bodywork, you can see all the cosmetic stuff that needs to be done that basically I went through in order to get that rebuilt title. And ultimately I've just left it alone, mostly because the car just runs. Every time I get in it, it runs, it starts, it drives me to work, or it drives me to wherever I'm going. And I generally don't have any issues with it. Now, I had the one time with the clutch hydraulics where I thought I was gonna get stranded, but I was able to get the car home and get that fixed. And that's all taken care of. I made the video. You can go back and watch it if you want. But what's really gonna come with this car, I think, is mostly cosmetic and some maintenance stuff. I do have some AC components coming in that I'm gonna be working on, as well as all the cosmetic stuff, whether it's paint or vinyl. If you did notice, this is a new to me hood. This is actually a carbon fiber hood. It's completely trashed. It's spider cracks and chips and dings and all that nonsense. I'm gonna have to completely rework it, and that's my plan. So I'm gonna make a video on reworking the hood. I'm gonna make a video on the cosmetics of the car. I'm gonna do some headlights. I got a CR style wing that I wanna put on. And there's gonna be some stuff to come on this car. I also wanna do some prep for the car, taking it up to the mountains sometime this fall. So basically there's gonna be a lot more work done on this car. I feel like I've ignored it for the last, maybe 12 to 18 months. I do have a lot of other things going on. As you guys probably know, if you've watched any of my videos, there's project after project after project. This one seems to be forgotten because it generally just runs. So that being said, stay tuned if you want to see more on the S2000. I'm going to move on to the next project in this video, and let's go check it out. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and keep the hatchback pretty short and sweet. It should be my #1 priority, but I've really just been focused on some other things. There's been a lot of things moving around with buying the new Civic, things with the Element, swapping the Miata and the S2000, the Miata getting so much attention, the S2000 getting none. I really just like it. It's really kind of #2 right now. I think I'm going to focus on the S2000 because I do think I'm closer. I do think there's a light at the end of the tunnel with that car. I'm not sure if it's a tunnel, if it's a train in the end of the tunnel yet, or if it's just the lights getting brighter. But I do think I can get the S2000 much, much closer to where I need to be with it, or where I want to be with it, so that I can not be distracted and work solely on the hatchback. Now, like I said, the hatchback has really been more of a shelf for the last 6 months. But if you are curious about where we are with the car and where it came from and how we got here, go back and check out some of my old videos. There is a playlist on my main page, and that'll kind of walk you through, like, at least from where I started rebuilding the car to where we are now. Obviously my ownership goes way further back. I think I touched on it a little bit, but the biggest thing right now, I think, is if we can get the engine fully assembled and I can start working on wiring harnesses and getting the transmission assembled and hopefully getting it back into the car, that's when I think we really turn the corner and I can really start. If I can move it in and out of the garage under its own power, that's when I can afford to start working on other things in a higher capacity and not having this incapacitated on one half of the garage. So that being said, that's really all I have to say about the hatchback. Let's go ahead and check out the next project. All right, guys, so I'm not gonna move next door to talk about the Miata. I'm gonna do it right here. This is normally where it was. You've been seeing a lot of it over the last like 6 to 8 months. We've been working on the interior. We've done a little bit of work, both brakes and exhaust and stuff to make sure that it's running right. And if you haven't seen it already, we did take it to Miata's at the Gap. I made a video about it. I'll post a link in the description, but also go to my main page and you can check out a whole Miata playlist of all the things that we've done to it, both from when we've owned it and up until now. So it's got a bunch of custom interior stuff done. It has full exhaust now. It has really a lot of work, like I said, over the last 6 months. I can't even begin to sum it up just in a quick video. So if you really want to see that, go ahead and check out that playlist. But ultimately, I think if you check out the Miata at the Gap video, that's a kind of great understanding of why we did it all. And doing that was great, but I think 3 or 4 days of hard driving has just been a lot for the car. And me personally, like, I think I've burnt out a little bit on working on it, because we were at one point working on it every weekend, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. And I'm ready to move on to something else. I have like a little bit of car ADHD. I kind of just sometimes have to like move on to the next thing. So I think that the S2000 is going to take the place right now. Obviously the hatchback as well. And not much more I can say about the Miata. So let's go ahead and move on to the next car. All right, so the last two cars that I haven't mentioned yet are the two that are like not projects. I mean, they kind of are because they've gotten so much work done in the past, but they're really not. So the Element has done a lot of sitting. I haven't put it out yet, but I did replace the starter. I thought I was having issues with the battery, obviously from sitting. The last video that I did was actually kind of like a deep dive. It was like a high level, but like a little bit more in depth into how I installed the USB and kind of just generally how you would install any like 12 volt accessories electronically into a car. So feel free to check that out if that's something that's interesting you. You're like, oh yeah, like I want to install these little USB sockets that they put in my car, but I don't know where or how or anything like that. Check out those two videos. They're kind of coupled together. There's like the initial install video, and then I kind of did like a little bit, like one layer deeper, like how did I install it, or why did I install it a certain way. And I did switch it over from being ignition switched from being not ignition switched. So one of the things I thought it was constant, it was draining the battery, so I thought I had a battery issue. Turns out it was a starter, so pay attention to that too. I am going to be putting out a starter video for that car soon. Those cars are not the easiest. They're not hard, but they're not the easiest starter to replace. It's a little bit involved. So I did want to make a video for that. So if that's something you want to see, go ahead and drop something in the comments and let me know, and I'll start hustling on getting that video out. A lot of times when I shoot these videos, it's a week or two later that I finally release it. Some of the easier videos like this, where I'm going to do less editing and less, where it's more just like maybe me speaking or maybe just a collection of shots or video or whatever, I can get those out faster. But when it's something where it's like kind of like I want to make it a DIY and I want to have like useful information in it, it takes a long time sometimes to do edit it. Like speaking of the next car, my 2000 Honda Civic, it's my daily, but like that's one of the most in-depth videos that I've ever made, was replacing the clutch on that car, because I tried to have a ton of information. I tried to make it extremely useful. I tried to make it easy to follow. I tried to make it like not like if you're not a mechanic and you're like, I'm considering doing this thing and I want to know if I can really do it, I think watching that video will help you at least make a decision. I think it'll help you get the job done, but I think you can at least see what you're expected to know and do, and then what you end up having to do, and kind of be able to make a decision whether that's something that you can actually carry out. So speaking of the white Civic, it is my daily. That clutch video has been like the biggest thing that I've done on almost any of these aside from the hatchback, where we did swap the motor on the Miata, but I wasn't filming at that time, which I should have been. There's a lot of shoulda, coulda, wouldas, but ultimately, like, that's been one of the most involved jobs and videos that I've recorded and edited and released. So definitely go check that out. If you like that style, I can do a lot more DIY videos in that style, where I kind of put together both the factory service manual and what the expected steps are, and then what I end up actually doing to get the job done. So if you like that style, let me know, and I can start shooting more videos in that style when I start doing DIY, whether it's with the Civic, or I should say like the EK Civic, or the hatchback, or S2000, or whatever. Like if I do something that should be or could be DIY, then maybe I can do it in that lens. So let me know if you like that. Other than that, I don't really have much to go over. So like I said, we went over what the channel is, where I hope it's going, all the cars. I guess I shouldn't say all the cars. So we have, you know, the hatchback, the S2000, the Miata, my other two utility cars, the Element, the Civic, and even my wife's Civic is gonna get a little bit of work done. We actually hit a bumper on a highway driving home, and it trashed her bumper. So we're gonna do some replacement. I kind of gave her the option. I'm like, we can go back to a factory one, we can do an aftermarket one. The aftermarket one may not fit as well, but it might be cooler looking. Like we can do whatever we want. So I think we're gonna do the aftermarket thing. There are a few parts that we need to order for that. If you guys want to see that, drop me a comment. I'm really happy if any of you made it this far. I don't know how long this video is, but losing audience over the course of the video is not uncommon. So if you made it this far and you watched till the end, I really appreciate it. If you're not already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And like I said, drop me any kind of feedback that you see. Likes always help. I want to grow the channel, but I'm not necessarily pushing for it yet. But like I said, every view is important to me, so let me know. I'll respond to all the feedback. Other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.
you.